Let me see if we can get the ball rolling. 'Cause I
I'm
got the
having my
article.
I'm having my orange juice in Florida.
Is it Florida orange juice or just orange juice in Florida?
Well, it's Tropicana, so it does say it's from
Florida.
made down here.
Yeah, I'm sure it's one of the best kind there is. All right, article. The newspaper. Library of Congress. The Florida Sentinel. I got a message. Pensacola, Florida. January 26, 1900. We're going to do it even right number. We're going to go over 120 years ago to the Florida Sentinel. The article I'm going to read is down here called Deadly Habits. We're going to play a visual video whilst I read it so you guys might be a little more entertained, as I would be sometimes.
Here we go.
And we're full screen. Deadly Habits. 1900. Deadly Habits. Let's see. The woman who is addicted to the terrible morphine habit knows that she is rapidly going down the steep hill that leads to death. There are thousands of other women rushing down the same incline, but they don't know it. They find themselves suffering from nervousness, headache, despondency, irritability, and a dozen other symptoms of female troubles. Moving on.
Mm.
For relief, they turn to the many alcoholic stimulants, malt extracts, and other compounds so widely advertised to cure the ailments of women. Okay.
Mm.
Um, these produce a false stimulation. I won't go there. And
False
the
stimulation.
and the sufferer finds more and more as time passes on, and soon become an unwitting slave to strong drink. What a weekly, not weekly as in calendar, but weekly woman needs is Dr. Pierce's favorite prescription, which contains not a grain of opium or a single drop of alcohol or other dangerous stimulant.
Not a grain.
Not a grain. It acts directly upon the womanly organs, stopping drains. I have no idea what that is. Restoring displacements. Sounds like a back problem. And having a wonderfully beneficial effect upon the general health. Suffering women who wish to consult Dr. R.V. Pierce himself, lovely, it's a man that knows everything about a woman, can do so by mail, addressing him at Buffalo, New York. I know somebody in Buffalo. He makes no charge whatsoever for advice. Personal testimony from Mrs. Raina Hensel of Ohio. I've had been troubled with chronic constipation and female wickedness, and doctored with different physicians, none of whom seemed to help me.
Female wickedness.
Wickedness, wickedness,
Female wickedness.
wickedness. No, it's weakness. Just, I thought I would try your medicines. I did so with good results. Took two that's TWO, bottles of Dr. Pierce's Golden Medical Discovery. And one of his favorite prescriptions, and I can say I am cured of my troubles. That would be women troubles, female troubles. What the heck? Thanks to Dr. Pierce's and his medicines, they do a world of good to those who give them a good trial. If you want a book that tells all about women's diseases, ask a man, and how to treat them at home, send 21-cent stamps to Dr. Pierce to pay for postage, and he will mail you a free copy of his great 1,000-page illustrated common sense medical advisor for
For free.
well, you have to pay foot postage. I don't know what. Yeah, that's weird. For a heavier, handsome cloth binding, 31-cent stamps. It is the grandest medical book for popular reading ever written. The end. The end. Like, 1900. Female troubles. Okay. And now a word from our sponsor. Not really. I'm just going to call it that. Now a word from our sponsor. To elaborate more on female troubles. Apparently, nothing's changed, baby.
Well, Mr. Bradshaw, what's on your mind?
Bearings, Inspector.
She's a good one, too. Just look at that record.
Okay, now, Walt, you've had your little joke. Give her to somebody else. I ask for a man.
We don't have a man with her qualifications. Seriously, Brad, if you treat her right, she might make you a darn good employee.
What do you mean, treat her right?
Get that chip off your shoulder. What's wrong with her?
She's a woman, isn't she?
Now, wait a minute. You got a lot of women in your department. What's wrong with one more?
Did you ever hear of the straw that broke the camel's back?
They're good workers. Accurate, quick to catch mistakes, a lot of patience.
Yeah, but that comes out of books. I work with them, mister. I know what happens.
What does happen?
Well, it's a long story.
Come on now, tell me. What does happen? Maybe I've been misinformed.
Not so long ago, you sent me a girl by the name of Myrtle Malloy. Remember?
I remember.
As per her qualifications, I assigned her to an inspection bench. Well, in a matter of days, that bench looked more like her dressing table. And then came the day when... Joe, will you take your stuff back to table 9? That'll be your bench for the time being.
Okay, Chief.
Myrtle, we're moving you to table number 10.
Is something wrong, Mr. Bradshaw?
No, nothing's wrong. We just need this space for something else.
Well, I sure hate to give it up. It's been a nice place to work. The light's good here, and it's nicely situated right in the middle of things. I just begun to feel at home.
Well, I'm sorry, Myrtle, but table 10 will have to be your work area for the time being.
You mean there's liable to be another change?
There's always that possibility.
Well, I certainly hope I'm not moved every other day.
With man, no trouble at all. Tell him what you want, and he does it. But with Myrtle, a little move is a big production.
Okay.
Now, wait a minute. You asked me, now let me tell you. Now, here's another problem.
Oh, Mr. Bradshaw, I wanted to tell you that the date is set for my marriage. I'll be leaving soon.
Marriage? I thought you just got engaged.
Well, I told you about it 6 months ago. We were only waiting till we could find a place to live.
6 months ago? Oh, brother. Well, how soon are you leaving?
Well, the end of next week.
Well, that'll really put us in a bind around here. It takes time to break in a relief, girl.
Yes, I know it does. I wondered.
Why didn't you say something? I didn't realize you were getting married right away.
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Bradshaw, but I really thought you knew. We've all been talking about it.
Okay, Brad, but how many blushing brides do you have? Besides, what's all this got to do with Dolly, the new girl? She's already married. And she's a qualified bearings inspector.
You know what I was doing when this new girl came in a few minutes ago?
No.
I was trying to cope with one of the biggest problems of all, Walt. Now, in your books, it comes under the general heading of absenteeism among women employees. Yesterday, I spent an hour and a half teaching one of our girls what she needed to know in order to start on the oscilloscope today. This morning, she isn't here, so I had to use somebody else. I don't think the girl we got on it now ever pick it up, so I'll probably have to find somebody else.
Question. All these things you've been talking about, marriage, absenteeism, personality problems, aren't they really just a part of life?
Part of a woman's life, maybe. But I can remember the good old days when there were all men in my department, and we didn't have these problems.
You didn't have the production output you've got now either. Look, Brad, you've got a new bearings inspector who happens to be a woman. You need someone, and there isn't a man available. It seems to me that whether the gal adds up to trouble or not is pretty much up to you.